Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller. And this weekend is the first weekend that I have not had yoga teacher training. And I will say, it feels so good. Last week, as I shared on the Friday episode, I had my final teach out on Saturday. I was so excited. I got that completed and I'm feeling like, honestly, really just good about being done. So this Saturday was like completely open, and Sunday I did have my Golden Gal network events, but other than that, like, I didn't have to be anywhere. I didn't have to be studying. I didn't have to be doing anything in particular. And I will say this last week has just like honestly flown by. I spent it in Iowa, and honestly April in general went by in a flash. Like, it was so quick, and I feel like I am just trying so hard to stay rooted and be where my feet are, not get too ahead of myself with the plans and the events and everything. I feel like a major hurdle has like been taken care of now that yoga teacher training is done. That's something I have in my back pocket. I don't have to worry about anymore. And then moving forward, like, I have my birthday. I'll be going to Texas this weekend. And then we have another event. Like, it is just, I keep wanting to say slay the boots down, slay the house down boots, or whatever that saying is. It keeps like going in my head. But I'm just feeling like cloud nine. I'm feeling so good. Spending time with my family in Iowa is always just amazing for me. We did like a little bit of camping. I got to visit some very cool people, which we will get into. But April flew by in a flash, and I know that the summer is picking up. Like, it's still spring. It's not technically summer until like June, but I'm like, wow, like, we're really booking along. We're really doing the thing. And I am like still trying to get my ducks in a row on what I'm doing when. And I feel like it's so easy to overbook yourself when it comes to the events. We're all trying to catch up with our families and our friends and be present in the moment, and so many exciting things have been happening. So I'm just like, okay, like, let's stay grounded. Let's make sure we're still working on the things that we're working on. And I feel like a bunch of my seeds that I planted back during the winter time are starting to grow and take off and sprout, which is an amazing feeling. But it also means I need to be getting the fertilizer out. I need to be watering these things and not getting too ahead of myself. And speaking of like plants and everything, last week or maybe the week after, I like completely broke apart my monstera. So she's everywhere. I've been working on trying to find back patio furniture. I messaged a girl on Facebook. She has like this wrought iron, like 4 chairs and a table. It's really beautiful. Has a spot for a umbrella. Like, it honestly would be perfect. But I'm thinking of putting like all the little monsteras around it. And I've been so focused on my houseplants that I haven't focused on my little patch of dirt in front of my house or on the side of my house. And that is unfortunate. I did order some seeds from Guernsey. They sent me a magazine, and you guys know that I'm in my magazine era, okay? They sent me a magazine, and if I ordered like back in February, I got $100 off or something like that. They were doing a spring sale. So I sent those off, and very slowly, like, everything is coming in. So I got me 2 trees. I got 2 persimmons and 2 elderberries. My apple tree is not here yet. I got some seeds in the mail. I got some rhubarb, and I'm needing to rip up the beds and get some seeds in there, get some flowers in there. And that is honestly something that, like, I need to get those seeds actually in the ground. I'm working on so many other things, and I'm forgetting about like being outside and digging in the dirt. My front porch, definitely front and back porch, honestly everything is a work in progress right now, and I've definitely been in my magazine and catalog era. So I picked up these two big books. People call them like coffee table books, where you like sporadically put them around just for decoration. But one of them has like dinnerware in it, like place settings. The other one is like your home essentially. And then the magazines that I picked up are, you know, outdoor, indoor. And I just feel like I'm working on so many other things in my life that I've yet to work on those areas. But it always gets me nervous before going on a big trip. So last year, if you remember, I bought a bunch of hydrangeas and I was so excited for these hydrangeas. I wanted to put them in the ground. I had this vision for myself that I would have these beautiful bushes growing outside of my house, and I would be able to, this again was like 2 years ago, but I actually bought the hydrangeas last year, of being outside and being able to like do yoga in the yard and like having these beautiful hydrangeas. And like I've had that goal, I've had that vision, and like working towards that. Now I put the hydrangeas in the ground and I went on a big trip and somebody forgot to water them. Okay, I was on a trip, I told someone to water them, aka Garrett, and they all just like burnt up and died. So I'm nervous about going to Texas this weekend because that was the same thing as last time. We're coming up on 1 year of my job transition. So I was going for training for my job, and then I was going to Texas on like this trip for the Dear Media. And I was like, okay, like I have all these plants set in the ground and they didn't get watered and they died. So I'm kind of nervous about trying to do all that before leaving. Although it's just a weekend, I'm gonna be gone, and then I won't be able to take care of the outside like if I were actually here. So I guess it's good and bad that I haven't done it, but like we need to rip out the old like branches, or not branches, like the old carcasses from my plants from last year that didn't come back, or to rake up all of the like the old wood chips. They've like the dye is gone because I like black wood chips, and they get bleached by the sun, so I have to like round all of those up. But I just haven't had the time because I've been running around, right? I'm trying to do too much, honestly, but we're not gonna try and do too much. Let's get into the peak and the pit of the week. So the peak of the week, I got to see Malcolm and Marcella. If you don't know these two names, they are my niece and my nephew. So I have multiple siblings, and my sister Caitlin has two beautiful children, and she lives closest to my mom and stepdad. So I try so hard to like be there for my niece and nephew because I do live in a different state. It makes it harder, right? Like there's obviously like cell phones and everything, but Marcella is 6 and Malcolm is 3. I believe he's 3. Children's ages are so hard, like trying to remember it all. It's hard for me to think, oh my gosh, like my aunts and uncles did such like a good job of like remembering what I liked and like remembering my birthday. But now I understand why people always ask like, oh, how old are you starting to get? Because it is so hard to remember how old these kids are getting. But Marcella is in kindergarten and Malcolm is in daycare. And something that I really wanted to do for them is to visit them at school, like to have lunch with them. Malcolm is not old enough yet to have lunch at the school. He's in daycare, right? But Marcella is in kindergarten, and I always wanted this as a kid, right? There's things that when you are a child are just like the top of the top, most amazing, coveted. Like when the students in your class did this, like you were so jealous, and there's a handful of them. So the first one, someone coming and picking you up early, right? Like being able to leave school early for like a trip, like something good, like, oh, we're going on vacation, or I am getting pulled out for a half day because I have a doctor's appointment. Obviously, if you're pulled out for a half day, that means you are getting McDonald's or like something really cool. Getting out of school, being pulled out of class, like to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be here after lunch because I'm going XYZ. the coolest kids, always were leaving early. Elementary school, middle school, in high school, right? Does not matter what age. If you were a student and your, classmates got taken out of class early, that was elite. The next one is snacks on your birthday. Okay, like your mom or dad, like providing snacks for your classroom to celebrate your birthday is elite. Okay, to be able to have those snacks, right? All eyes are on you. One, it's your birthday, but two, like everybody wants a snack at school. So you have the snacks and you're like, here you go. And at my school, we were able to pass out the cupcakes or the cookies or whatever we brought ourselves. Was it sanitary? I don't know, but we got to do it. So I would like give the blue cupcake to my best friend or the pink cupcake to my other best friend. And then I'd give like the green one that was smashed on the side of the container to someone I didn't like as much, right? Like you got to pick. It was very special, right? And it's also your birthday. So usually people sing you happy birthday. I always felt bad for the kids in the summertime. Like my sister Caitlin is born in July. Not July, that's my other sister. Caitlin's born in June and Lily's born in July. So those are two birthdays that were not celebrated at school. It was a summer birthday. Horrible. Or like the end of May. Luckily, like May 8th, which is my birthday, was always at the beginning of May, so we were still in school, right? And I love this. It was perfect. But if you got snacks to hand out to your birthday, amazing. Okay, the third thing was someone coming to lunch with you, okay? Whether they just had lunch with you, like brought their tray, this is not including high school, okay? Like it's not including high school because I feel like it would be a little embarrassing for high school. Middle school and elementary school, you're still like very much in love with the main characters in your life, such as like your mom, your dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, right? Like grandparents say, like when your grandparents came, amazing. But to have someone come to lunch, either bring you lunch, right? Like a special, again, McDonald's or, Wendy's or whatever, like fast food, and to sit with you at lunch. Now, this is something that I didn't really get to experience because I lived out of state. Most of my extended family lived in Missouri and I grew up in Northeast Iowa, so I didn't get to experience that. We definitely had people come and visit, but nobody visited me at school at lunch. Is that a big deal? No. But I definitely took note from the students who did get that, and then like me who never got to experience that. And also it's like a fun core memory. Like it's exciting for someone to love you that much, to take time out of their day to come and eat lunch with you, right? And I wanted to showcase that to Malcolm and Marcel. Malcolm, isn't that like prominent right now today? Probably not. When he gets a little bit older, kindergarten age, he will remember. And let me tell you this, I did not tell Marcel and Malcolm that I was coming to lunch with them because my schedule is kind of crazy when I go to Iowa. Like I don't know what I'm going to be doing, and I had plans to I specifically was going to Iowa for an event with Lily. It was happening in her college town. I was like, we're going to this. I ordered tickets. And so that was already in the works. But what sandwiched that is work days, right? I work remotely. I work with my mom and stepdad, and I knew that I would have to be glued to my computer. But I drove up. I was able to work when we were camping. So, I drove up there. It was a shorter distance. We went camping, and then I wasn't sure if we were going to continue up to like where I grew up, like my hometown, or if we were just going to stay at the campsite. I was going to go and visit Lily and then come back to the campsite and it'd be good and grand. But it ended up that someone had a doctor's appointment, had to go up there. So I did get to go to my hometown, and I texted Caitlin that morning. I was like, hey, I know that we've discussed it because I did bring it up with her like the week prior. I was like, hey, is today a good day to go to lunch with them? Because of course, like, I want to be respectful. I want to make sure that it works not only for them, but also Caitlin has to call the school. She has to let them know that I'm coming, right? And she's like, yes, let me call the school. Asked me to call the secretary. Secretary wanted to ask me like what I wanted for lunch, if I was going to be like paying a certain way. Totally good, totally fine. So I get there and I like wait in the principal's office and I'm waiting for Marcella to come and get me. She ended up not coming to get me. Teachers are busy. She probably just like missed that email that the secretary had sent out that Marcella was supposed to pick up a guest. Totally fine. I don't care. So she was like, all right, like it's lunchtime. I don't think Marcella is coming to pick you up. You feel free to like walk down to the lunchroom and meet her. And now I'm nervous because I'm like, I have to walk up to this lunchroom and like, hopefully Marcella recognizes me. And I don't know why I had such like a fear that she wasn't going to know who I am, because obviously she knows who I am, but kids are weird, right? Like it's so, especially because I don't have children, to think, oh, like when are they conscious? Like when do they start to know this is my aunt, this is my uncle, this is my mom, this is my dad, right? Obviously they know their mom and dad, but I did cut my hair, and I know my face does not change, but I cut my hair, and it is an environment that is different, right? Like I'm not at Mimi's house, which is what Marcella calls my mom. She's not at Mimi's house where like I would regularly be, right? So it's a different environment. I would like to think that I know what the back of my niece's head looks like, right? And so I'm walking up, I see this long line of little students, little kindergartners, and I was like, okay, Marcella is getting to be a pretty big girl. Like she's growing, like it's so crazy to think like Caitlin had this little baby and now it's like grown up to a whole person, right? Kindergarten, mind you. So I'm walking up, I'm like, okay, that's not her, that's not her, that's not her. I was like, Marcella has blue hair right now. She has like a little blue hair, like a little streaks. So cute, honestly. But she's had pink hair, she's had blue hair, and right now she has blue hair. So I'm like looking, and I was like, oh, that's Marcella. She was like this little girl, and everybody was so much bigger than her. I was like, Marcella is not a big girl. Marcella is a little baby girl. Like all of these students are so much bigger than this girl. And I'm like, Marcella's got to start eating more. Marcella, we have got to pound the protein. No, she's fine, honestly. But I was like, Marcella, calling because, whatever. So I said, hi, Marcella. And she turns around, the biggest smile on her face, immediately grabs my hand. And also, kindergartners are past the terrible twos, but every child has a little bit of attitude, right? And Marcella is definitely, like, she has those moments where she's an older sister, like she has a little brother. All children, especially me when I was a kid, they can be just a little bit bratty, right? Like a little bit, ew, like I don't want to hang out with you, right? When they're a baby, they just love you, and then they get a little bit older, they don't want to be held, they don't want to be kissed. And Marcella obviously is 6 going on 24, right? Like she acts like she's a teenager sometimes. And for her to like grab my hand, like the sweetest smile, my heart just immediately melted. I love that kid so much. And she grabbed my hand and held it so tight. And I was like, hi, Marcella, is it okay if I have lunch with you today? And she's just like smiling and nodding her head. And I was like, you are seriously the best girl. And we were walking in the line, obviously like I'm so tall in comparison to the rest of these kids, right? And her teacher goes, Marcella, who's this? And she goes, this is my Aunt Logan. I was like, Marcella knows who I am, right? Like, obviously she knows who I am, but I was a little, like, one, cried because she knew who I was. I know that sounds so dumb, but I have a little bit of a worry because I live out of state, because I live in a different place. The last thing I want is for one of my nieces or nephews, they call them nibblings, right? Like your nieces and nephews are called nibblings, like siblings, but it's nibblings, like with an N. I would hate for my nibblings to be like, who is she? like me trying to like give him a kiss and be like, ew, who are you, right? Like I want to be involved as much as possible. And she's like, this is my Aunt Logan, which so grown up, Miss Marcella. But I like was a little sad. I was like, ah, like that's not what she calls me. She picked my aunt name when she was like starting to talk. I wanted to be called Aunt Lolly. I thought that was so cute. Like Logan, lollipop, like so sweet, like so fun. And I was like, oh, you want to call me Lolo, because Lily, my little sister, used to call me Lolo growing up, which I hate that nickname. But like David, my brother, would be like Lolo, and I hated that name. And so Mom and I were sitting on the bed with Marcella, and we're about to go to bed. This was when she was toddler, just about talking. And we're like, Aunt Lolo, Aunt Lolly, Aunt Logan, like all these things. And Mom said at one time, Aunt TT. And Marcella was like, TT, like she loved that name. I don't know why, but Mom was thinking TT because my first name is actually Taylor, bit of a shocker. I've always gone by Logan, but like Taylor is officially like legally my first name. And Mom's like, TT, like Taylor, like, oh, no, Mom, that's not actually what I go by, thanks to you. But Aunt TT just stuck. And so I was a little sad. I was like, she called me Aunt Logan. Who is that? But I will say, when we got out to the playground, because I had lunch with her, oh my gosh, she was so cute. So she grabbed our milk. She like grabbed me a milk and grabbed herself a milk. And she grabbed me chocolate milk, which I don't really like chocolate milk, but she's getting me my milk. I'm not about to say, Marcella, I hate chocolate milk. She could have said eat dirt and I would have ate dirt. Like I'm here for her. Okay, like if she was eating dirt, I would also be eating dirt. So we get our little lunch trays, we go, and she's like, we get to sit at the special table, which essentially it was a table way away from her friends. We had her back to her friends, and I did ask her, I was like, do you want me to sit in front of you or beside you? And she's like, beside me. So I got to sit, I got to chat. It was so good. She was chowing down on her mac and cheese. And then she's like, will you come to recess with me? I was like, absolutely, I will go to recess with you. She showed me, she was like, we play fairies and I'm the queen fairy. And I was like, this is how I know she is my niece, because she is so like, so many good traits that I have as well, right? Like, and so she has like all of these like kids running around her, and she's like, go pick some dandelions, go get some rocks. Like she's bossing them around. I was like, that is my girl, thank you so much. And on the playground she did say, like called after me like, TT, like come over here. So that like helped a little bit. And then after seeing Marcella, I got to go see Malcolm, and Malcolm's at daycare. And also like I spent a whole hour with Marcella at her school. I almost like thought I was gonna get in trouble I went to recess with her, and then I walked her through the classroom. I was like, girl, I really actually have to go, right? So I kissed her goodbye. I went to see Malcolm at daycare, and I got to see him. It was so funny because two of the little girls that he is in daycare with are a little bit older than him, and they're definitely like Marcella. One, they're twins, okay, and they were talking so much. I love that, okay, love girls being assertive, but they're like chatting, and Malcolm is like on the quiet side. He's not that like chatty in general, and so Malcolm's like smiling at me, he's like jumping around, and these girls, of course, they're a couple years older. Malcolm is just now starting to really have sentences form, and they're like talking. I was like, poor Malcolm. First he's at daycare with these twin girls, and then he goes home to Marcella, right? Like all these like just being henpecked a little bit. And it was really, really sweet to see Malcolm in his environment too. And I know when he gets to kindergarten, I don't think this year, but next year he will be in kindergarten. I mean, like he's finishing out this daycare, and then he has like a whole another year, and then he can start. I can't wait to visit him at kindergarten too. And not only that, but afterwards, like I need to work some, so I had lunch with them. I went to a coffee shop, worked on my computer, and I texted Caitlin. I was like, hey, like I'm done with the kids, I'm gonna be working, let me know when you get off work. I would love to see them afterwards too. I know it seems kind of dumb that I took time off work to visit them at school when I was going to see them after school. But I just think it's so important to see the kids in their own environment and for them to think, hey, like, I'm special. They came and visited me at school, right? I got to see them afterwards. I was sitting at a coffee shop and I'm like typing away. I was just about to leave and then I see my brother-in-law Michael and the two kids come meet me at the coffee shop. We went to the park. It was a blast. It was amazing. That was my peak, like getting to just see them at school and be like, oh, I love these kids so much. And they mean so much to me. And I can't believe how big that they're getting. And it was just something really special that I was like, man, like this is amazing. It's definitely a memory that I'm gonna keep forever. And I hope that Marcella remembers it. And I don't think Malcolm will remember it yet, but hopefully in kindergarten when I go and visit Malcolm, he will remember as well. And I just love those kids so much. And we played on the playground, right? That was a little bit of a tongue twister, but we played on the playground and I like, this was after the coffee shop. This was not at school. And we were like playing and I climbed on the jungle gym with Marcella and Malcolm and they were climbing. And I honestly have not thought of a park or thought about like how parks are really impactful. I got a text like maybe last week or the week before from Garrett's aunt texting me like, hey, like we're gonna come to the town that you live in. What's a good park? We're bringing a bunch of students for a field trip essentially. And I was like, that's a good question. Like I didn't realize that parks, I know this seems so dumb, but parks all have their own names. I just thought, oh, it's like on this road, like you can just stop by. But a park has to have funding, right? Like they have to either have donations or, you know, city or state funding. It goes into the budget. These are tax dollars. And as I was like watching Marcella and Malcolm play on this playground, I was like, this playground is actually pretty nice. It definitely is getting worn, like it's sun bleached, right? But it's a pretty good playground. Like it is sturdy, it's safe, like they're climbing up. And honestly, it reminded me a lot of the playground that I used to play at growing up. And I was like, damn, like this is a nice playground. And then it got me thinking about, you know, Garrett's aunt texting me about what a good playground is. Garrett had looked up, because it was a group message, Garrett looked up a couple places and he was like, this one's a good one. And I looked up a couple and I was like, Garrett just had an open field park. Like that's not the kind of park I think that they were looking for, because they were gonna have a picnic and then of course the kids were probably gonna play. And I was looking them up, I was like, oh, they all have names. Like, of course they would be names. Like how else are you supposed to differentiate between the different places? But I just thought it was so cool. I was like, man, it's important. And I think I forget that because I don't have any kids, and so I'm not often taking them to parks or taking them places where I would have to think about the safety or think about how a park and a community is so impactful. But we got to go to the park, got to swing, got to slide. They have like these little like rockers with the spring on them. So cool. And it made me feel good. Like we just got done with tax season. And so I'm like, man, these parks actually, like my money went to this park. Or like a public school, like my money is going to a public school. Obviously, my taxes are not in Iowa, it's in Missouri, but I felt good. I was like, you know what, like Marcella and Malcolm's mom and dad, their taxes are going to good work, you know, like thinking about it in that aspect. But it definitely was a memory for the books. I'm so glad that I got to go up and see them. And it just makes me appreciate any time like an aunt or an uncle or grandma or grandpa, mom or dad, like spent time either traveling to an event for me or supporting me in a school function. Like it means the most, because there are some kids that don't get a proper support system, that don't, you know, I always knew that I had family, whether or not they were in a different state than me. Like I always knew that they cared for me, but like some kids don't get that. Some kids don't get to see their grandparents all the time or even have grandparents. Like it just puts it all in perspective on how lucky I was growing up, and also like how lucky Marcella and Malcolm are, and how lucky my children will be, and just the family unit around it. I'm like, okay, like how fun is this? Like it feels great, it feels fun, and it makes me feel like I have a positive impact on my little nibblings, right? Like on the my siblings' kids. Like that's just insane for me to think, but it does feel really, really good. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. Now, with all of these like fun, amazing things that I got to do over the past week, it was time to finally come home, right? Like I got to spend time with Lily. That was really fun. But my pit of the week was all of the tornadoes and like rain and wind. Absolutely insane. So I was driving from Iowa back down to Missouri, and it was just, I don't know, high winds, some rain. It's always nerve-wracking, right? Like here I am in my vehicle, and I actually had my brother David following behind me because he was visiting family in Missouri as well. He spent the night, it was amazing, but I was like so nervous because one, there was crazy tornadoes in like Nebraska and in Iowa. So Lily was traveling for track, and she went to the Drake relays, and she had to be in a freezer, like because there was a tornado. Crazy, insane, hate that, right? So that was definitely the pit of the week, like all of these natural disasters, I guess. And I'm pretty sure, isn't there a new movie coming out with Glenn Powell that is Twister? Like, isn't it a remake of Twister? Because that's good marketing, okay? To have the Twister come, to have tornadoes come. No, I know that marketing did not do that, okay? That's just a joke. But for it to be so wild, it's just, it's scary. Like, we don't really have earthquakes in the Midwest. I will say, like, I felt an earthquake in Missouri, actually. I was sleeping at my dad's house. This is years ago, right? But it was like the smallest little earthquake, okay? What we have to be afraid of is like ice storms and tornadoes, okay? And hate both so much. But David and I did make it safely home. Me to home, and he got to come spend the night. It was really fun to host David, and then we, went on with our merry way, and he headed back up to Iowa. But the tornadoes, definitely the pit of the week. Now, with visiting Lily, I love it when I can fit like very important events all in like the same week. So I got to see Malcolm and Marcella, and then Lily and I were planning on going to the Canceled podcast. They had a show in the town that she goes to college at. I know that I could have gone to Kansas City one or the one in St. Louis, but I wanted to go to the one with her. It's like, we're gonna go, it's gonna be so much fun. And she's like, okay, like I might be a little close on time because I have a track meet. I was like, okay, amazing. I would love to see you like do your track meet. Like, can I come? So I got down to our little college town earlier than the podcast tour had started. It started at 5, so I was like, perfect, I'm gonna be there. And I got to watch her run her event, which was 2 miles, or it's like, actually I'm gonna mess this up. She had to go around the track several times, okay? It was the longest event in the entire meet, and she did so well. She ended up PRing, but I arrived to the event by myself, okay? I sit by myself. I'm so like, I'm okay with being alone. I'm okay with being like very independent in myself. But I was like, all right, like, I'm sitting by myself. I arrived by myself. I'm gonna have to leave by myself because obviously Lily has her teammates, okay? And again, I am very comfortable with being alone, But what was so awkward was when she was running past, like, I want to clap, I want to shout, I want to scream, I want to say, go, Lily, go. And guess what? I am by myself, okay? There's nobody else's voice to chime in with my voice to be like, go, Lily, go. Like, it's just me by myself so awkwardly. And then on top of it, like, this is a meet. There's multiple schools there. So not everybody is cheering for Lily's college like I am, okay? So now, again, like, it's not our home crowd cheering go Lily go. It is me by myself and nobody is around either. Like, there's some in the bleachers like down the way and I'm like, go Lily go by myself. And of course, like, my voice sounds so dumb. Like, I can't help but think you sound so annoying. But I like videoed her, she PR'd, she did amazing, so good. It was a beautiful day, the sun was out. I feel like those girls were just running so fast. She ended up doing like the 2 miles in like 10 minutes. It was like 11 minutes actually. It was so fast, she was so fast. Amazing, great, got to watch her. So the podcast started at 7:30. Her events, like everybody's events, because she can't leave, okay? Just like her teammates cheered on her, they weren't by me, but just like her teammates cheered around the track, wherever they were, she also had to cheer for them. That's sportsmanlike, that's being amazing, that's saying, go teammate, go, like whatever. So I had to wait. And when the last event was called, ran at 7 o'clock. So I'm like, perfect, we have 30 minutes. I'm gonna walk to my vehicle. And I knew that she just ran the track. She didn't have supper. I also didn't have supper because I drove from work straight to her meet. And I'm like, I am gonna run through, get a matcha, get a little snack. We got grilled cheese. It was so fun. It just makes me, I want to have girls so bad. Like, if we do have children, I want to have girls so bad. Because one, like, I love Marcel. I love Malcolm too, but girls just, Malcolm is so sweet too though. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I want girls so bad. So like for Lily, I got like 2 matching matchas, 2 matching grilled cheeses, and like put them in the little cup holder. It's like, oh, how cute. Like, can't wait to have like hopefully multiple daughters. And I'm like, I'm gonna wait for her. It took 10 minutes to like get to my vehicle, drive through the drive-through, because it's all on her like little college square. And I'm texting her, I'm like, hey, I'm on a side road, okay? I will pick you up directly from your dorm. Text me when you're there. And I see her walking. She's like, I'm fast walking. This girl was so slow, okay? She's like, she was fast around the track, but now she wants to be slow walking to her dorm. No, I know she was tired. Anyways, so she's gonna quickly change and like come to my vehicle. It's now like 7:20, okay? It's all happening very fast. Like, she's doing what she can. She can't help that she had to cool down. Can't help that her, coach wanted to talk to her, talk to the team. She finally gets finished walking up. It's gonna be like a 6-minute drive to where the canceled podcast is actually like doing. Perfect, amazing. Like, I feel like we're gonna be really good. So she finally comes down the stairs and my GPS says we're gonna get there right at 7:30. Mind you, this is not with parking. This is, okay, we're gonna arrive at this place. So I say, hop in, she hops in. She's eating her snacks. She's very thankful, obviously. But it just made me like excited because now we're going to this event afterwards. I got to see her. It's very like heartwarming for me. Like, I'm feeling really good. So we drive around and this is so unfortunate. So I wasn't able to like drive my vehicle down. I had to drive Garrett's vehicle down because I had to haul a 4-wheeler. Long story short, I wasn't in my vehicle. I was in a different vehicle. And this vehicle is much taller than my vehicle. And as I was trying to find parking, everything was like 6 inches. Or I'm sorry, 6 feet. Sorry, not inches. 6 feet or 5 feet. Like, the little parking garages were so short. They were like gonna come up to my windshield. And I was like, this is so annoying. So the first one, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna fit. I like drove up to it because I had already turned. Then I like turned into the parking garage, saw the sign. I was like, I'm gonna have to back up. I'm gonna look like an idiot. Backed up, had to find some street parking. It's now 7:33. we're late, okay? And that's like, we had to park down the road. Now we're like running to this podcast. And I'm like, okay, Lily, like, hope you brought your running shoes. She is a platform Converse girly. She loves them so much. I was in Chacos. No, I was in Burks. Okay? I haven't worn my Chacos since lake time. Anyways, we're running. We're sprinting. I was like, sorry, you just had to run. We're going to run to the corner, turn and stop running. So we're walking up and I see multiple girls who are dressed like they're also going. So I was like, we're not the last ones. As we're walking up, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to find these tickets. I bought 4 tickets because the first tickets I bought were, you know how like when you're buying tickets, it says like none are available in a section. And then sometimes because like a cart has ran out of time, it always like when you put something in your cart, it's like a countdown. And then like the countdown will run out and you then have to like try and repurchase. So when I originally purchased like the tickets, it was in a different section because no other like lower level were available. But when I refreshed, because I was like, where did I pick them at anyways? Like I need to screenshot it and send it to Lily so that she knows exactly where we're at. I see 2 tickets available in a like row that's much closer, immediately purchased, like, so I had 4 tickets. I cannot find these tickets. I'm like scrolling so fast. My phone's not loading. It's Iowa. Thank you, Northeast Iowa. So annoying. I'm like scrolling so fast. I'm like, can I find them? Finally found them, got them scanned. It's now like 7:37, right? Like it's past. We're like past the 7:30. And I was like, you know what? In my head, Tana and Brooke, would they be on time? No. I wouldn't be on time. Like, that's my personality. So I'm like, okay, we're probably good. We're probably good, right? And I feel very lucky at times. Like, I just think to myself, I'm lucky this is going to work out for me. And it usually does. So we're walking up and I see the merch table. I was like, Lily, let's get merch. Because if we even think that we want merch, we need to get now and not after. If we try and get it after, it's going to be a madhouse. We're going to have to wait for so long. I'd rather be a little late to the podcast, get the merch, than to try and get it after. So we are standing in line. I'm like, I know what I want. I'm getting this one. She's like, I'm getting the baby tee because for recruitment, we need baby tees. I'm like, oh my gosh. If I would have tried that to wear a baby tee that said canceled across the chest, I would have been sent to standards for that. But hey, Lily can do what she wants. So she like got her baby tee. I got my, 2XL huge shirt. It was beautiful, amazing, so soft. I wore it that night to bed and the next day. So we get our merch and I'm like, perfect. Okay, and we had to wait in line for merch. So now it's like 7:45. Oh, and did I mention when we walked up to it and was greeted, the woman's like, do you have any questions? Which way are you going? Do you need to go up or to the side? I was like, honey, we are basically floor tickets. Not really. We're in like seat L, okay? Like A, B, C. We're in L, okay? 12th row. Still pretty good. She's like, and just so you know, we are starting on time. And that was back when it was like 7:37. Okay, so I'm like, starting on time? I doubt it. In my head, I was like, this is gonna work out. And that doesn't even delay us for our merch. We get to the doors and I don't hear no talking, okay? I hear chatter. I hear the crowd chattering, but I don't hear the guests, the podcast host. So I'm like, perfection. It has not started. It has not started. I'm like, we have our merch. We got parked. We don't have to pay for parking. And now we're on our way to watch this. A nice old man walks us down to our seat. He goes, here are your seats. We sit down. And guess what? As soon as our asses hit the seat, the lights dim. The little pre-show pops up on the little screen. And I was like, we made it just on time. I looked at Lily, I said, how lucky are we? Like, you always have to acknowledge the luckiness when you're experiencing it. I was like, how lucky are we? It just started and we had an amazing time, watched an amazing show, had fun. It's like really nice to experience it with another person, right? Especially your sister. So we did the show and we got Taco Bell afterwards. I slept in her dorm room, which is crazy. Like, I've slept in her dorm room twice. And she, like, for her freshman year of college. Like, that's such also a good memory. I know, like, I'm just trying to be so grateful for each memory I'm making, because I know these are the things that I'm going to look back on. I just want to remember them so bad. So like taking photos, like, of course, like when you do things with the people that you love, you remember them. So crazy week. That was on Wednesday. Thursday, hung out while I slept at Lily's, and then Thursday I spent the entire day in her college town. And let me tell you, over my lunch break, because I was working at like 4 different coffee shops, I like stopped at one, ordered a drink, spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours there. I felt like that's enough time. I go to the next coffee shop, right? And so I'm like bopping around and like getting all these coffees and making sure that I am being reasonable at each place. And I go thrift shopping on my lunch break, and it is amazing. Okay, so I'm picking out all the things, and I was floored about how amazing these shops were. So there's a huge one, it's called the Daisy, immaculate. Okay, and right next to it was like the Crazy Zebra or something. I walked through the Crazy Zebra first, and I was just immediately drawn to all of these like fun prints, and I was like, okay, I don't really want to spend that much money today, because I've traveled. It's the end of the month, like my bills are coming soon. I want to be able to pay off my credit cards, and I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna get this. I want to go to the thrift store right next to it. I did not realize that the one shop, the Painted or the Crazy Zebra or whatever, that's one shop. The Daisy, the thrift store, was 4 of those, like same amount of space for the thrift store. I was in heaven. So I spent so much time just like fingering through the racks, like in my sizes. One, they had like, this is what frustrates me. At thrift stores, a lot of the sizes that I am sell out really quickly, or they're not there. It's like extra small, 2X small. Like, I don't like that, okay? And these had like such quality, amazing, good pieces that were in my size. Shoes in my size. Like, I got 2 amazing dresses. Okay, one is floor length, one is like to your shin. Amazing, beautiful. If I would have bought them like regular, easily $84. Like, I have just seen like boutique pricing, right? Like, you go to a boutique, you know that it's bought from this wholesaler, right? Like, I did a boutique, like I know the prices that they're marking it up for. That's what they have to do to make a profit. Amazing, that's what they have to do. I just like, money's tight for everybody, so it's really hard for me to buy like one piece for $84 or $60 for a sweater, when I can go thrifting and find something that is unique, find something that nobody else has, and that is better quality. I don't know why, but like the last 10 years, a lot of pieces, even like 5 years, it's Shein. Like, we have a lot of these like fast fashion pieces that aren't high quality and they disintegrate anyways. So for me, like, I rather go thrifting. I'd rather try and find pieces that are going to last a really long time, or, you know, something that I'm gonna love, something that is maybe not in trend now, but I still think is amazing. So I got 2 of these dresses, and like I said, these dresses, if they were in a boutique, it would have been $84 to $120, right, for these dresses. But I got them for $8 and $13. Amazing. I also got this denim skirt. Denim skirts are so hard. Honestly, denim in general is hard to find in a size that isn't like an outdated style, or, you know, too small in the hips, or completely stiff, or, you know, just not what you're looking for. And this jean skirt is perfection, okay? And if it's so good, I got that for like $10. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is amazing. I also picked up this like it's like a split face. So on one side it makes a face. They're for books, okay? But it's also like a vase or a planter. So you can put like plants in it, you can put a vase in it. You can put flowers in the vase. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use it as a vase for flowers, but you could easily like put a plant in it. I would rather have flowers. And they're also bookends, so I picked those up. Amazing, beautiful. That, I think they were $12 for the 2 of them. If I went to a Marshalls, or if I went to a TJ Maxx or a Home Goods, like and I loved Home Goods. Okay, we're gonna get to that. I picked them up. They were amazing and so affordable. Then I picked up these, like, they looked like a boot. If you're thinking about a boot, you have the shaft, the tall part that goes on your calf, and then you have the part that goes on your foot. This was the part that just is your foot. Then it had like a little strap around the ankle. So it was more of like a dress shoe, but it was a cowboy boot style, like it's leather. And I found those for like $30. I said, hell yeah, like this is gonna look so good with like a long skirt or even like bell bottoms, like just phenomenal, so cute. Perfect, already broken in. Some people are weird about buying like someone else's shoes that they wore, but not me, don't care, love them. So those are the items that I got, and they were really amazing. Then I went to this other store. My phone's not near me, or I'll tell you what it was called, and the owner was so sweet. I got a vest for $2, okay, super cute vest, and it's like kind of embroidered a little, it's really fun, okay. And then I got a pair of sunglasses for $5. So overall, I felt so successful thrifting on my lunch break. Cedar Rapids is amazing for, you know, thrift shopping. It's perfect, okay? A million times down, would definitely shop there again. So I thrifted my jeans, skirts, and the dresses, and all the things felt really good. Now, I wore the jean skirt to the Mimosas with the Gals event on Saturday. When I say like my weekend was chill, it was chill. Like I didn't have any homework to do. I didn't have anything crazy to do. I literally just got to hang out at my house, right? Like I really wasn't doing anything. Or I had these two events that were also super, super chill. So with the Mimosas with the Gals, I was so worried it was gonna rain. Like with all the tornadoes and the rain and everything, like it's been a little crazy. So I reserved the patio and I was thinking, oh my gosh, like what if it rains? Like what if we are unable to have this event? Hopefully, I didn't know if it was going to be busy or not. I didn't want to be out in the patio and them not be able to see us inside, and for us to just like sit out in the rain. That would not have been very fun. So I was like, all right. I emailed the girl and I was like, okay, like if it rains, can we go inside? She's like, absolutely. And it ended up being a perfect day. I got sunburnt actually. I was wearing this like little black top, and the top part is like a square. So I literally got burnt in a square, and that's what I get for trying so hard to have like a nice tan. Like I've been laying out while I work from home, like just being outside and trying to like make sure that I don't have a super like harsh line, and here I have like a square on my chest. I'm so annoyed, but it's really good. Got to meet so many amazing girls. Some people were returners, obviously, but a lot of new faces, and I'm so excited to see them. But we had an amazing brunch. We hung out for literally hours. Okay, we got there at 10. Nobody left until 3. And afterwards, one of my friends was like, hey, I have to go, I'm so sorry, I'm going to the movies. And me and another girl were like, what movie are you going to see? Like, can we go see it too? Because she was going to like a 320 show, and it was discounted 25% off. And we were like, we would also like to go. So we pulled out our phones, bought tickets, and went. It was Challengers, the new Zendaya movie. And since Katie was already going, me and Alexis were like, we want to go too. So we booked our tickets, and after having like an amazing lunch with amazing gals, then to like tie it off with going to the movies, one, Katie had bought like a good ticket. Like her ticket was like in front of the screen at a normal distance. Alexis and I bought tickets 20 minutes before the show started. So we were almost in front of the screen. Like we were in the second row, not the first row. And at a concert and at a podcast show, you want to be in the front. At the movies, you want to be in the middle, okay? And so we were in the very front. We were basically staring up. I did get used to it. It was not that bad. And it was a great movie. It's not what you think. It was kind of sad and heartbreaking. I was literally in the end. Oh my gosh, the end. I don't want to give any spoilers because it literally came out on Friday. and I saw it Saturday. So I was so it was amazing. Okay, it was a great movie. It was definitely not what I thought, but the entire storyline had me just trying to connect it in my brain. And I will say, like, Alexis was a perfect person because Katie was in the middle. We were in the front, right? And we talked about it afterwards, like what we thought of the movie, but it was really fun because like Alexis and I were right next to each other. So like, I'd be like, you're kidding me, right? Like we were chatting, but not talking during the movie. We would just like shoot a knowing glance at one another or be like, ooh, I know. And plus the girls right next to us, they were also like the same, like the same parts. I would be like, oh no. They would also be like, oh no, you didn't, or like whatever. It was amazing. It was such a good movie. And it just like kind of like ended out the day really good. I did feel weird because I was still in my miniskirt and my like top from Mimosas with the Gals, but it was kind of like a date night. It has been so long since I've like dressed up for the movies. I always think, oh my gosh, like I want to be comfortable. I want to wear like sweatpants. But here I was like in a mini skirt because I was with my gals, and now I'm going to the movies with my gals again. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, like I've never worn this since like middle school or high school. Like I remember like dressing up for the movies. We had a 99-cent movie theater like in my small town, so you know it was a thing, okay. And it was a great end to my Saturday, and when we got out, it was raining. So I was like, it's gonna be a perfect little night in. It was amazing. And then this past Sunday, we had our book club, and I just recently started this book club, so it's like kind of small, but that at least we're not fighting over which book we want to do for the next month. And a couple, two girls had came for my book club. It was the first month, so obviously like not everyone could make it, but we read The Women by Kristen. Oh my gosh, what is her last name? I picked the book. It was an amazing book. I loved it. The other girls liked it too. And then we're actually voting on our book for May. I put it in the group chat. And we're voting on it, but it is always going to be released on the first day of the month, and then on the last Sunday of the month we're going to meet for a book club. So if you're in the Kansas City area or interested in joining a book club, you can read the book even if you're not in the Kansas City area or can't meet up with us. It is just fun to read books at a reasonable pace and get together and chat about it. Obviously, we talked about other things too, but it was definitely like a Golden Gal weekend, and I'm loving it. It's amazing. And I have just been on like this high. My May 18th event sold out, like, and it's just wild. My retreat weekend is June 7th through the 9th. By the time this episode comes out, like I have announced it on the Instagram, there are tickets to be purchased. It is limited quantities, so like I'm nervous tickets are gonna go fast, or maybe they don't. Like I'm a little nervous about that too, but it's gonna be a full summer, okay? Things are getting booked and busy. And after my book club, I went to Home Goods and I was picking up a couple things for my birthday and just like decoration of the house, and thinking about like the retreat in June and what I wanted to bring for that. And I picked up napkins and chargers, which I've not had chargers for the springtime. I got a wreath. Like it was such a good haul at Home Goods. I love Home Goods, okay? And they also have like reasonably priced things, but it wasn't as good as like thrift store with the split face bookends, okay? I just think that you have to be creative and crafty when you're curating your home on, okay, what are the items that are going to be like true and authentic for me in comparison to like everybody else's house? Like what is like super trendy that I might not be a fan of? Like I have a sweater that has the checkerboard on it. It's like the green checkerboard, but like checkerboard print is not something that I like regularly want to decorate with. Like I do like a shirt being on it, but I feel like that's going to be like chevron. Like that's, and people have said that like on social media. So things that are trendy, like I don't necessarily want to incorporate. I want to incorporate something that I love so much, like the china that I've thrifted. It was so funny this weekend. David, he woke up and I made myself coffee and I made him coffee, and he has like the little teacup and the plate underneath. They don't match, like my China teacups and the little plate. I thrifted them, okay? Like I don't have the full set, but it kind of works. Like it kind of looks cute together. And so he's drinking his little coffee, I'm drinking my coffee, and it was just, honestly, it's been a really, really good end to my April. I cannot wait for May. May's just around the corner, and it's feeling really, really good throughout. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.